Shalom. Patterns and equations. So in the Aleph Tau, right? Or in Torah, the Aleph Tau, you have the characters, right? The characters can be used to gain more understanding of the world around us, right? So let's just break this down first. Characters have inherent power. All of them. All of them. Any recognized character, the letter B has power in it. Does it have as much as the character Bet? Fuck no. But does it have as much as the character 2? Just B and 2 do this. Those are similar. 2 has more power because it's a concrete understanding. See, this is 2, right? B is B. It's a sound. There's no real meaning behind it, just a sound, right? But when you have Bit, the character that has the B sound, you see. Now that has more than just B. It has a character of house. It has, the meaning of house, if you will, and the functions of a house. So, because this is written, let's take a step back. We're gonna look at it from a science perspective, just so everybody understands a little better, right? So, if you're looking at humans, right, as if we were animals, right, which technically we are in a way, we are. I know some people say, no, we're not animals. We are. By definition, we are animals. We're more than animals, but we are also animals. Okay. So, if we're looking at it like that, right, then it should be obvious when you think about it. It should be obvious that we're doing something. We're doing something very, very wrong. We're all speaking languages that aren't the original. So think about it like this: you have a cat, no kitty, right? If you see a cat walking down the road, right, and you hear that cat go, right, sound like a donkey or some shit, right? A cow, dog. You'd be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with that fucking cat, right? You'd stay very far away from that cat, right? Right? Now you say, oh, well, we're humans. Just stop that. I'm gonna put that to sleep. Okay, so that's 1. 2. Just gonna take that cat again, right? Now, if that cat tries to go to another cat and make that strange noise, that other cats will pretty much, in cat form say, yo, what the fuck? And then me back the fuck up, right? That's what they're gonna do, right? Right? Yeah. Of course. What wouldn't do that, right? Okay. So, then what about us, right? See, if we're not speaking now, we what is called today is not what it was called originally. Okay, we call it Hebrew, but it was not called it wasn't called Hebrew thousands of years ago. It was called speaking. We were all speaking one word and one language. And mind you, I showed the evidence. The Tower of Babel, it's in Iraq. Yeah, I showed that. Yeah. So we were all speaking one language. So now, it can be it can be easily. It's not a stretch of the imagination. It's not any type of crazy, like just stretch what you're doing here. No. If you can't make this connection, you're pretty fucking retarded. It only makes sense that the original language that we were all speaking, right, should affect us in a specific way. It should affect us in a way that is more than just saying things that are like someone says, "Oh, you're handsome. Oh, you're pretty," right? You feel some type of way, right? Okay, but if I say that should make you feel something different. Now, because we're so far away from where we were thousands of years ago, obviously. You hear that, and do you feel anything? You feel something, but do you know what it is? Of course not, right? So let's pull out some more sciencey shit, right? Neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is the phenomenon that happens in our brain, most easily recognized with math. When learning math, your brain begins to become rewired. The neural pathways in your brain become rewired. Right? Your brain power gets stronger. The way you process information gets better just from learning math. So it can only be absolutely obvious and clear and just unarguable that if you were using the language that all humans were speaking at one point, mind you, like we call it Hebrew, but it's literally everyone's language. If you're using that language, if you're using humanity's language, let's put it plain, just like cats meow, right? Dogs, bark, I ain't doing all that. Just like they do that, right? You're going back to the original language that we were all using. It can only be it has to be such that the neuroplasticity, when you're learning about the language, you're learning about it and using it with understanding. If you're using it, then understand it. But it can only be such that if you're learning it, using it, and understanding it, that the phenomenon of neuroplasticity must be in effect. It has to be. Right? It has to be. We're going from what we're using, whatever language we're using now, and then going back to the original language, right? So it's going to rewire our brains. If anyone knows either more than one language or at least knows how languages work, you should know that knowing any other language besides the one that you know makes your brain think differently. So you have the words, right? I've showed how much the words would blow your fucking mind, right? Yeah, of course. Everyone's freaking out now. But see, there's a thing that Yahweh showed me because he's no one teaches me. Like, well, people can teach me, but no one's gonna be the teacher. See what I'm saying? Except for him, not to me. So. You teach me shit, but you can't be the teacher. So what you can do is this: if you were to take, let's take two English words. If you were to take the word and you take the word also, and you cross section them, put it right. I can't. It's kind of dark. I'll put it right here. You cross section them, right? What you're looking at now is nothing. It's just two words that share a character, right? But what if you do it with the original characters? I don't know if I've explained this. I probably have, but of course I have. Of course I have. If you're using the original characters, what about that though? See, the original characters, because they have infinite meaning. They have infinite knowledge in them. Okay, they have that's the best way to say it. They have infinite knowledge in them. Because of that, right? It's not just a sound. They're not just sounds. So just because of that. It can only be such that, or because of that, when you see it, it's gonna it's how do you say this? When you cross section them, right? You get to see the relationship between the words, and then while understanding the relation between the words, you gain much higher knowledge than you would have if you just looked at the word alone. For example, you had the word Betty, and you had the word Benny. I'll put them in the darkness. So, penny means faith. Well, translated as face. I mean, it can be used for more than one thing. That's how the language works. So, translated as face, and then peri is translated as fruit. They have one character different, which is the resh and the nun. So, what's the relation between them? See, when you're looking at face and new, patty. I'll actually, and there's a little more I could do with this. You could, a little more I could do with it. But I'll just do. I don't want to make it too much, right? Not yet. So, when you combine the words, you can see. Let's go for the first one, the first character, which is be. Be is your mouth. Right here. So. When you have that, you get to combine the words and understand something about these words. Now, this is not. I have way deeper ones, which I'm going to show later. But they're both the edge. A fruit is the edge of the tree. What that tree is doing, right, will be seen through its fruit. Does it yield seeds? Then it's trash then. What that person is doing will be exposed through their face. Am I eating right? You're goddamn right. And then the second character that they both share is the jod, which is the arm, the whole arm. I'm in all black, you really can't see it, but the whole arm. So the arm represents. Oh, sorry, hold on. The mouth represents the edge, if you will. So what's going on inside me? You can see right here. What's going on inside of a tree, you can see in the fruit. So then the works, the arm, right? How does that work out, right? You just kind of see it, right? Well, the fruit, with the tree is there to, give shade and whatever. As the tree matures, right? The tree wants to pass on its lineage through seeds, right? So it's working. It's working to pass on its lineage. So your face, what about that? Your face not working to pass on its lineage. I mean, it kind of is, right? Because if you're handsome or you're attractive, it helps, right? It's one. But on top of that, just like I said, well, actually, you can say, I can stop right there, can't I? When you working on the inside, and I don't mean physically. Like, yeah, I'm handsome as fuck. Whatever. I don't give a shit. Hallelujah. Yahweh did that. Whatever. I'm not talking about that. Because even if I was a piece of shit, no one would give a fuck. Just be honest. If I was garbage, no one would care how I looked. You'd be like, all right, whatever. You're a dickhead, right? Okay. So the works inside of me, right, is making my face like this. The works inside of me because remember, your mouth's here too. So what does that mean? And like mouth, like aside from the actual character pay, which is mouth, your mouth is there too. So what comes out my mouth? Because what I'm eating doesn't affect what comes out my mouth to an extent, but like not like 1%. What I'm eating doesn't affect what comes out my mouth, right? What goes into my body, like what knowledge and information I take into my body is what is going to affect what comes out my mouth, right? So the work that I do comes out of my mouth. The food that I eat comes out of my mouth. You see the relationship here? So it's a thing where it's like, you can see the relation. It's when you combine them, you don't see them as separate words as much. Now those words, mind you, I haven't really studied them deep enough as in connection. I haven't studied those words in deep connection enough because they're just not as fun, They don't really give me as much power. So, I haven't done it yet too much. Oh, and another thing. Seeing as how everything I'm saying is completely right, just watching this video alone is rewiring your brain. Uh, it's about to get really exciting, y'all. Shalom.